Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
We have had an incredible increase in the amount of reports for drug dealing and other nefarious activity over there.
A Rockford bus stop is a hotbed for criminal activity. A man who lives close by says he's had enough. Some of the men and women who keep our community safe are dealing with their own trauma. Health officials hope first responders will speak up to prevent tragedies. And a State Line museum devoted to local veterans gets a new exhibit. Poppies paint a picture of the highs and lows of service. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy. Eric Wilson is off tonight. The Faust Landmark on East State Street provides affordable housing for seniors and people with physical limitations. But the area around the high-rise has become a hot spot for criminal activity. That has city leaders taking action. Patrick Jones is a disabled Marine who lives at the Faust in downtown Rockford. Jones says he is a frequent bus rider and often uses the bus shelter across the street.
A lot of us are disabled and older, and it gives us a place from shelter from the weather and a place to sit down.
But that shelter and the one that runs alongside the building on 4th Street are being used for more than a place to wait for a ride.
There's a lot more day drinking going on in that bus shelter than there is actually waiting for a bus.
They sleep in there. Sometimes they just sit there all day long and not ride the bus, and sometimes they smoke dope in there.
Rockford police requested Rockford Mass Transit District remove the shelters for the time being, but the bus stops will not change.
The only difference is that they're not going to have shelter in case of inclement weather, so to plan ahead, bring an umbrella or dress warmly for the few minutes that you're out at the bus stop.
The mayor says he agrees with RMTD's action.
I have heard from residents, I've heard from businesses, I've heard from nonprofits, I've heard from people who live in the Faust that the amount of drug dealing taking place just outside the Faust and at that bus stop specifically, and actually specifically right across the street at the vacant parcel is excessive and frightens many of the folks who live over at the Faust.
Jones says he hopes the change is temporary.
It should be up to the police to enforce that and get rid of them people so we have a place to sit.
Brown says RMTD will reconsider the shelters in the future if criminal activity in the area goes down. Many people know the risks of getting hurt when pursuing a career in public safety, but most don't realize the toll the job takes on first responders' mental health. The CDC says first responders are almost 1.5 times more likely to die by suicide compared to the general public. One doctor with UW Health says one of the contributing factors is the stress these workers are under. Another downside, many first responders feel they have to be strong to stay on the job.
It's a lot of people who are type A personalities, who are self-sufficient, who don't like to admit that they need help from other people too. And so you end up getting a culture of giving the appearance of being completely self-sufficient, but actually people are internalizing more and they're not talking about those things when they probably should.
Experts say first responders can cope with stress by talking with friends and family. With Pfizer's COVID booster shots more widely available, many State Line residents are rolling up their sleeves. In Boone County, hundreds of community members have signed up to get a third dose. Right now, boosters are only for people 65 and older, and at least 6 months after the first series of shots. Those under the age can get one if they have underlying medical conditions. When COVID vaccines first rolled out, people had to register for the shot in their county. That's not the case with the booster.
Going to look different across the state of Illinois, but the booster shot is widely available. So if there's not one near you, if you're listening in and you're in a different county, we're able to vaccinate you at our clinic or vice.
The Boone County Health Department is hosting booster shot clinics every Thursday in October at the Poplar Grove District 3 Fire Station. Head to mystateline.com to register. Promising results for a new pill to fight COVID-19. The drug maker Merck says clinical trials showed that its COVID-19 pill cut hospitalizations and deaths in half for those affected by the virus. The company will ask the FDA and regulators in other countries for emergency authorization use. Health experts say the drug molnupiravir may be effective against other viruses as well. It works by inhibiting the reproduction of COVID-19 inside the body.
In the placebo group, there were 8 deaths, and in the treatment group, there were no deaths. That's also very important and very good news, because once a recommendation is made, then we go through the same process of getting the recommendation for its usage through the CDC.
Merck says if approved, the company will produce 10 million doses by the end of this year. The White House has already committed to purchasing 1.7 million doses of the drug if it's authorized by the FDA. The poppy flower is a symbol of remembrance of the First World War. Now, a local museum is showing the meaning and flower in a new way. Alexis Carpello was able to check it out today and learn more behind the exhibit.
Walk up these steps and head through those doors and you'll see an award-winning exhibit. It's new here at Veterans Hall. It's decorated with the poppy flower. It's a somber one, remembering all the lives lost in our military.
This is something the veterans created.
The red flower has been a symbol most of us know.
The poppy has its significance that goes back to World War I and Flanders Field, and it has since been a symbol of fundraising that the American Legion and the VFW uses, where you'll see them out with the poppies, and you get a poppy and you can wear it, and it says that you support our military veterans.
Veterans Memorial Hall Museum Director Scott Lewandowski tells me these 3 designs are made up of thousands of poppies.
First of all, it was like, holy cow, they got a lot of poppies on there, don't they? I mean, I believe one of them has over 3,500 poppies on it. These exhibits are significant because they took the poppies to a whole nother level.
The veterans from the Roscoe VFW created the designs. One features all 6 military branches, including the newest, Space Force. Another is for the Gold Star Mothers, and the third is a depiction of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
You see it and you realize, there are people that are truly passionate about their service in our country and letting people know. It's a way to honor our veterans. This is one exhibit out of many. There's so many in this building that tell the stories of different veterans and organizations.
The exhibit will be here at Memorial Hall through Veterans Day. The admission is free. Reporting in Rockford for your home team, I'm Alexis Carpello.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are still trying to gather votes on 2 of President Biden's signature pieces of legislation. Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson is keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
Good evening. It's not the Republicans that are holding up President Biden's 2 signature pieces of legislation. It's members of his own party. Democrats agree on the items that are in the Build Back Better agenda. It just all comes down to the price tag. President Biden made the trip to Capitol Hill late Friday afternoon to make the case for passing his agenda.
He wants to speak directly to members, answer their questions, and make the case for why we should all work together to give the American people more breathing room.
This comes after the Speaker was forced to delay Thursday's vote on the infrastructure bill because of infighting between progressives and moderates within the Democratic Party. Still, those Democrats say they're inching closer to a deal to pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the larger Build Back Better agenda.
I feel positive. I mean, I really believe we're still going to deliver on both of these things.
Progressives are demanding a vote on the $3.5 trillion bill that includes free community college, child care assistance, and Medicare expansion before supporting the infrastructure bill.
And these are the things we're fighting for in the Build Back Better agenda, and it's the president's agenda.
But Republicans like West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito say now is not the time to spend trillions of taxpayer dollars.
At a time when we have high inflation, when we have a lot of trepidation in our economy in general.
And this is the second meeting President Biden has had with Democrats today as he tries to move his agenda forward. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson, back to you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Marcus Walter in for Candace King. And as we talk about the weather out there today, we'll first start out with the Mercy F SkyTrack weather camera. It shows that we have some overcast skies out there. You see the hospital in the distance, traffic moving along just fine out in that direction. But we are talking about warmth outside of any cloud cover that's been out there. And when we talk about the warmth, let's take a look at the almanac, because today we saw temperatures reach 88 degrees. The record for today is 90 degrees, set back in 19 1971. So we did not set a record, but it definitely was a warm day out there. And that was not only the case for Rockford, but pretty much for the entire viewing area. We saw temperatures well into the 80s, and we saw temperatures in the upper 80s in Janesville, mid 80s toward Rochelle, upper 80s toward Sterling, and mid 80s toward Galena. So it was a warm day for all of us, and this will likely be the warmest day for us over the next several days as wet weather and cooler weather will start to move in. But let's talk about temperatures out there now still, because we are still warm, sitting at 86 degrees in Rockford, 84 in Freeport. And when we take a look at the day planner, it shows that temperatures will slowly drop off, and by the time we get to midnight, we'll have temperatures down toward the lower 70s. So it still will be warm even as we head into the overnight. Now, satellite radar does show that we have a lot more cloud cover toward the south and southwest, even some rain showers moving through parts of Davenport. Some of these clouds will try to push in our direction as we head throughout the night tonight, but I think most of us stay dry for the next 4 to 5 hours. But as we take a wider view, we see moisture stretching from the Canadian border all the way down toward the Gulf Coast, and we also have an upper level low pressure system spinning across parts of the west. Now, that area of low pressure, that will push east along with this wet weather in the middle of the country. That's along a front. As that pushes east, we're talking about more clouds and rain chances moving in. But the reason why we've been dry and also warm today, we have had high pressure continuing to dominate the weather across the Great Lakes, but that high pressure does push east as we head throughout the night, and then we have that front push in from the west as we head into the weekend. So let's take you throughout the next couple of hours. Some rain chances showing up, although I think most of us deal with just clouds more than anything else. But overnight, we could see a few spotty rain showers develop, and you can see that showing up in this particular forecast model. It shows even some wet weather out there as we look towards Saturday morning. I do think that we will see the chance for more scattered showers throughout the day. It's not a total washout Saturday, but still wet weather will be around. Now, we are talking about a greater rain threat as we head towards Sunday, and potentially it'll be across eastern and southeastern parts of our viewing area. This particular model, keeping some of that moisture a little farther to the east, is something we definitely have to watch out for, but we are talking about wet weather being out there. And then by the time we get to lunchtime Sunday, we may see a lull in that activity, but there's another boundary toward the north and west that could mean more rain for us as we head throughout the late part of Sunday into early Monday morning. Now, how much rain are we talking about? Many areas could see a wide range of amounts. It all depends on where the rain falls. And at this point, this particular model is showing some heavier rain a little farther to the north across parts of Janesville and Monroe. This is something we have to watch out for, but I think generally speaking, we'll see at least a ½ inch of rain and some higher areas or higher amounts in areas farther toward the south and east. Here's a look at 7-day forecast. Rain showers out there for the weekend. Then we will be cooler and drier for next week, although rain chances show back up by the time we get to Thursday.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with David Greenberg.
Good evening and happy Friday. And Friday nights in the fall, you know what that means. We've got high school football already into week 6, halfway through the season. If you can believe it's just flying by. And we've got a good one for our game of the week tonight. We're here in Nick 10 country as the Belvedere North Blue Thunder are on the road taking on the Hononegah Indians. There's a lot at stake here, and both teams know it, as the winner will take sole possession of first place in the conference.
I think the main thing is that we're just paying attention to our team and going 1-0 every week. So I think the main thing for us, I mean, obviously there's social media, like around that, there's a lot, people are saying a lot that's going into this game, but we're kind of just worried about ourselves and doing our thing.
I mean, it's another game for us. You know, we're not gonna underestimate them. You know, we got to just play our game. You know, another game for us. We got to worry about ourselves.
Let's start by looking at Hononegah. The Indians are coming off an absolutely thrilling victory last week, beating Boylan 16-14 on a Bryce Goodwine game-winning field goal with a second left. That will no doubt give the Indians a ton of momentum, but that'll be a key to this game. Will they be able to let go of the past and focus on North, or will they be too caught up in the moment of last week's win?
Our guys have been very focused, and they've been taking it week by week like we asked them to do. And to be quite honest with you, we said we might get in a situation where, you know, we've got to believe in each other, and I think that's what happened.
Grit. We have grit. I mean, we talked about it all summer and all season, but we had never been challenged on that yet. And so being on that sideline, experiencing that, it was just encouragement all the way around. It was nice to see that.
And they're going to need some of that grit because Belvedere North is coming into this game hungry and looking for redemption after the Indians put a beating on them last spring. When the Blue Thunder lost 61-0, and while they've moved on, they have not forgotten. But as they say, new year, new me. That's a great way to describe this North squad, who are led on offense by dynamic dual-threat quarterback Mason Weckler.
That game wasn't that long ago. There were a lot of people that played in that game from both sides that are playing again Friday night. So, yeah, we definitely remember that and keep that in the back of our mind.
I'm really confident. I've been really watching film, just really confident in our offense and in our line, and I just got to trust everyone that they're able to do what they're supposed to do, and then they trust me, and then we're able to run some points on the board.
Weckler. Well, just a short while until kickoff, so whether you'll be out at your local area game tonight, be sure to tune into Fox 39 at 11 p.m. for overtime. Scott Leber and I will have plenty of highlights and post-game reactions from this game and many others around the state line. Looking forward to seeing all of you out here tonight. We'll be right back.
Marcus, we'll have a final look at the weather in just a moment, but first, here's a look at what's to come on News Nation tonight.
Tonight on Dan Abrams Live. Seceding from the Union? It's an idea now supported by a stunning number of Trump and Biden voters. Is it really that bad? Do they really believe what they're saying? That's tonight on Dan Abrams Live. Now here's a look at tonight's Banfield.
Thanks, Dan. Tonight on Banfield, the trolls are out for blood. We'll show you the online cruelty that's besieged Gabby Petito's family, who are grieving the loss of their daughter. Plus another lie uncovered by a member of the Laundrie family. That's tonight on Banfield.
You can catch News Nation tonight on cable and satellite stations you see here. You can also head to newsnation.com.
And as we talk about your forecast, we'll start out with the First One Interactive Radar brought to you by Rockford Auto Glass and More. Things are quiet for us here, but we are talking about rain showers around for the weekend. Tonight, we'll even deal with a few spotty rain showers overnight. Temperatures down to 66 degrees. 7-day forecast shows wet weather for the weekend. And then we're talking about dry conditions into next week, but rain chances showing up by Thursday.
Hopefully we get a little rain this weekend. Thanks, Marcus. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at 6.